Hi, I'm Portraits, aka Museum Meme Union on Twitter. Welcome to the second video in my series of videos doing tier lists of fine art. This week we'll be dunking on American Colonial Portraits by John Singleton Copley. Copley, a extremely well-known colonial portrait artist, Anglo-American, kind of like split time between the U.S. and Britain. But primarily is thought of as a American portrait painter, though not all of the portraits here are of American subjects, because he actually left the colonies in 1773, 1774 to go to England, and so missed out on the American Revolution. So first up, we have probably his most famous, I think, portrait. A lot of people don't know it's by Copley. It's Paul Revere. The way I'm gonna be dunking on these is that I think Copley's paintings are all good and they're fine and they're good examples of portraiture of the time. But also we're gonna shitpost this. A lot of these people sucked. They owned slaves. They were racist. They were the powerful people of their day. Even if they were part of the American Revolution, they were just mad that they had to pay high taxes. Let's be real. It's 2020. So Paul Revere, he's fine. B tier. Next up, we have Sam Adams. Great beer. People tell me my dad likes it. So that's I think A tier is fine by that. Next up, we have Theodore Atkinson Jr. So Theodore Atkinson Jr. is an interesting guy. He's kind of like the ultimate wife guy. The next painting is his wife, who was a major she was a loyalist during the revolution, but she kept amazing correspondence with various British leaders. Was just really kind of a major social person of the day, just kind of generally a baller. So since he's the ultimate wife guy, I think he's an A tier. And then obviously we have Frances Deering Wentworth, who is often in history known as Mrs. Theodore Atkinson Jr., which is fucking stupid. Obviously, she's an S tier. In that painting, there's also a little squirrel. It was common to keep squirrels as pets during the day, and the same thing is with this painting, which is boy with squirrel. It's just a boy with a squirrel. In S tier, only because of the painting of the squirrel. Next up, we have John Bors, who just kind of looks like a general baller. He's I had enough of this shit. So A tier, honestly. Next up, we have Midshipman Augustus Brine. I know nothing about him other than he's a kid and his name is dope. Imagine being on a boat and having the last name Brine. Also, it reminds me of Master and Commander, and I like Master and Commander, so S tier. Next up, we have the portrait of Hugh Montgomery, 12th Earl of Eglinton. He's wearing a kilt, which redeems him a little bit for being landed aristocracy, so B tier. Next up, we have Colonel John Montresor, who looks like a guy at a bar who told me to be quiet because I was laughing too loud or something, so D tier. And next up, we have Henry Addington, 1st Viscount of Sidmouth, landed aristocracy, looks like absolute shit. Looks like he's a villain in some kind of a Dark Souls kind of style game or something. I don't know. D tier, honestly. Next up, we have, this is a very interesting piece, is the only piece on WikiArt that was not of a white person by Copley. It looks like, and it was, looks like kind of more of a study than a final piece. Head of a Negro, 1778. Obviously going to go to S tier because it's the one time Copley addressed race and not anybody who wasn't middle or upper class. Which is Copley is very much the painter of the people in power, right? And finally we have Epps Sargent, who just looks like a chill dude. He's just kind of leaning against a column, as one does. I think he can go into B tier. So yeah, this is my Copley tier list. I hope you enjoyed. Sound off in the comments if you have any other artists you would like me to do. I will shitpost them as much or as little as you would like. Have a good one, I guess.